What's up, everybody? This is BakaBites. I'm Frankfurter. That is Magically Average. And today, we're going to be talking about some out of print manga that are coming back and some things that we wish would come back. They're out of print for a reason. And this really got kickstarted because today I went to Kinokuniya, which is a bookstore in a handful of cities throughout the United States, and I picked up a copy of the Gunsmith Cats omnibus that was re-released, and it kind of made me think of what are some other series that I would like to come back. And recently, publishers have been doing a very good effort about bringing older series back. Like Mushishi just got announced. Kingdom is coming to the United States for the first time.
Finally.
Um, finally, uh, Revolutionary Girl Utena is getting a release this year or this month actually. So it's one of those things of just like, okay, what are some other things that are out of print, or what are some things that we just want to see come back? And we've kind of compiled like a smaller list. I feel like some of them are going to be a bit no brainers, others are going to be a bit of an odder pull. But yeah, to start us off, I mean, is there what is there been announced for you other than Mushishi that you're excited is coming back?
Well, my main one was Mushishi. Thanks. Now I have to figure out what other one I want
Oh,
to come back.
if it was just Mushishi, that's fine. Like,
Yeah, I mean, like I'm more I view the reprints of mangas like they're great, right? I view reprints of mangas the same way I view like remastered versions of games or shows, or like in my realm to like Magic the Gathering related, like when they reprint cards from older sets. It's like cool. I would like to see new things though. I prefer reading or watching or exploring new things in the space, but having remastered stuff is great. Having things reprinted is awesome. Just having the accessibility to it, is wonderful. But there hasn't really been anything on my radar. Mushishi was the only one for forever that I wanted. And I just kind of came to the determination, like, if I really want to, I'll try to find a way to watch it, but I don't think I'll ever find the complete series, and then B, have the funds to purchase it, because by God, is it expensive.
yeah, I mean, if you wanted to watch it, it is on Crunchyroll to my
Yeah.
remembrance. But yeah, no, I agree. Like, I ever since you told me like, oh, I want to read this series, but it is expensive. And like, we would go to cons and we'd go to like the secondhand manga vendors, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, no, it's like $70 for like a volume, if that, if not
Yeah.
more."
Yeah.
So it's just like, holy hell. Okay,
Well, and I remember one vendor we talked to, and I was like, "Do you happen to have Mushishi, like any of the Mushishi volumes?" And the dude, nice guy, had like
yes,
he was like aggressive nice though, where like he came across as like if you didn't know how to read human emotions, you would just assume he was being mean. But he was just like, he's like, you think I have Mushishi? He's like, the moment that thing hits my inventory, it's gone. Like in a fucking second. He's like, no, I don't have it. I was like, oh, all right. Good to know, good sir. Thank you. But
tips the hat and just
yeah,
fucking
good day. But yeah, no, I mean, like that was one where I was content with just being like, if I ever want to, I'll just watch it. But now we have the announcement that it's going to be re-released, and it's great, and collectors are probably crying. Which, quick side note, if you collect out of print manga and you hoard it just to put it online at 1,000% above what the actual market price is for it, you're the problem. Just know, you are the reason why we're a failing country. You and only you. And I'm talking to you.
no other
No,
reason
no other reason.
whatsoever. Never. Yeah.
Explicitly the secondary manga market in the United States.
Jesus Christ.
And
I
you know
keep
who you
thinking of
are.
more. So, as we keep talking, I keep thinking of more and more series. So I'm just gonna kick us off of
Yeah.
series that like I want to see come back. And the one that I just thought of right now off the top of my head, I was like, oh yeah, because it's a show I have not watched. Yeah, I know it's accessible and I can watch it whenever I want, which I need to get to. Um, but it's Beck, Mongolian Chop Squad. I know
Oh,
that
yeah.
I know that music manga are a little bit weirder to read because you can't really envision what the actual songs are until, it gets an adaptation. You can hear the songs, but Beck is one of those ones that it's like it got a singular season. I think that there's maybe 20 some odd episodes. If not, it's only like a one season. Hold on, I'm looking it up. Uh anime television show, 26 episodes.
There you go.
It's 26 episodes, but the manga was 34 volumes.
Good
So
God.
there's no way in God's green earth is that Beck is like fully adapted. So that
No.
would definitely be one that I would like to watch, but I would also like to read just to get the full story for it because it's
Yeah.
one of those things that I've heard nothing but amazing things, and they're like, if you really like music, this is the show for you. Like
Mhm.
like K-on's great, Bocchi the Rock is phenomenal, but like Beck is amazing.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's definitely one that's on the list that I was like, yeah, I forgot about Beck. But yeah, and then I've got I don't know, one, two, three, four, five, six more. I don't know how many you have on your list, and we probably share a couple.
Go for it. Yeah.
The other one that I would like to see get a reprint, again, another show that's very accessible. I can watch it whenever, but I do want to read it because the premise of it seems really good. Is GTO, or Great Teacher Onizuka,
Yep.
and again, it's another one of those things where it got an adaptation. Uh, I believe it was just like a singular season, and then but it's like 25 volumes long. So it's like, of course, like it's not fully adapted in the anime. It's
Mhm.
43 episode anime. So it is a good chunk of it, but it's not everything.
Yeah. I mean,
Potentially.
yeah, there's a handful of series that I I hear about a lot, and you see a lot of like in Japan as being like classics that I know
Hmm.
either we don't have prints of in English yet, or it hasn't been reprinted in a while. The one that pops up is Air Gear, which I think it's been printed in English, but it's out of print, and that would be a cool series. I feel like I hear a lot about Air Gear. It's in that same like realm
Hmm.
of like the class, not like pure like OG series for manga, but it's just one that comes
Right.
up a lot, and
Yeah.
it's so hard to find. I feel like there's so many of those, and that's one issue too that I have, because there's a lot of series that I think of where there just purely is not an English release. Like Hajime no Ippo, no English release. Up until recently, Kingdom, no English release. I think Zatch Bell is another one that has no English release.
It does have an English release. It's just it was very limited because
Okay.
I know. But honestly, if you're trying to learn Japanese, my younger sister who took lessons and whatnot was like, "Yeah, honestly, I found this out. Zatch is a very good, and there's a lot of copies in Japanese. Is a very good intro manga to get into to
Huh.
start reading and learning how to read Japanese." So
I'll have to
weird fun
make a note
fact
of
about
that.
Zatch.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of teachers like for the lessons I've taken myself too. I know a lot of teachers say like you should ingrain yourself as much as you can in like Japanese media, because it's a great way to learn, and like
Yeah.
watching certain like kids TV shows, but then also reading manga. I don't know which ones they recommended, but I'll have to make a
So
note.
what you're saying is we need to watch more Butt Detective.
Yes, lots more Butt Detective. Almost
All the
exclusively
butt.
Butt Detective. Yeah.
um Another one of another show that I know is still accessible. They still sell the Blu-rays, but they don't sell the manga. And I believe again it never got a full adaptation. No, it didn't. It only got 12 episodes for an anime, and there's 26 volumes.
Hmm.
Batum. It's one of those shows that I've always been curious about. One of the series that I'm just like, I've heard good things and bad things about it, but it's like I want to make up my mind on my own. So I'd like to read the full series rather than just watch 12 episodes and see, if it's good there or not. Or, not even read the full series, but like have access to read it, and if I like it, continue and enjoy the
Yeah.
entirety of the story.
Yeah.
So Batum is another one, and again, anime accessible, manga not. So If you
Yeah.
want to get some of the story, you can, but again, it stopped printing a while ago. I don't even know. It looks like okay, we did get all volumes for it, but they stopped printing it again at the end of 2020, I believe, is when they stopped because the
Yeah.
last volume came out early 2020.
And I'm going through. We'll post the link in the podcast description for everyone else to use too. It's from the Anime Collective. There's a resource I found, article written last March, and it's great. Like they kind of go through all the different series, different publishers in the series that are out of print, and a lot of them I'm reading that are like, oh, it has omnibuses or deluxe editions now, or ones where I was like, I actually wanted that for a while, like Blade of the Immortal, that was obviously up there. One great one that I think I have the first 3 omnibuses of is the Kurosagi Corpse Delivery Service. That one's awesome. That was out of
Yeah,
print for
I
a
have.
while.
Yeah, because I actually remember the reason I found out about that series is I was at a half price books and I found the first volume of Gurren Lagann, which is also on my list of things to talk about here.
Yep.
Found the first volume of Gurren Lagann. I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna buy this. But I also saw this weird like paperback volume of Usagi's Corpse Delivery Service, or I think that's what it's called, like the full title. But the reason that stood out to me was because the first volume or the volumes that they had there were a weird rough type of paper for like the cover. It wasn't like a glossy, cover. It wasn't slick or anything. It felt
Yeah.
like a rough, thick paper, like a cardstock. And I was like, wow, that seems kind of weird. And then I looked up how many volumes, and then I was like, there's no way I'm buying all the singles for this, so I'm not going to get the singles, but I will buy the omnibuses,
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's
which they're still releasing. Actually, I think there's a new omnibus coming
there's a
out
new one.
relatively soon.
I think volume 7 just released,
I
I want to
think
say.
6, if memory serves me correct. No, Crunchyroll store does not have any of, or 6 or 7, so they only have the first 5.
Oopsie.
Yeah, I
Um
don't know what happened there. Anyways,
yeah,
but yeah, corpse
there's
delivery service is a weird one.
yeah, and there's a lot of those too. Like, there's two. So along with Mushishi, there's 2 other ones that are getting either the hardcover perfect edition, or the omnibus treatment. Both of them kind of surprising. One is Blood Battle Blockade. Same author as Trigun. That's getting omnibus reprints now, coming out soon. If not, I think the first omnibus might already be out. And then the other one, which I know you're excited about, is Planets, is getting the hardcover perfect editions.
Yeah, that one I already owned the 2 volumes that they released out here, the omnibuses, and they still sell the omnibuses in store,
Yeah,
but
it's getting
yeah,
the
that one's
it's getting the
getting.
vagabond treatment, right? Where it's like you have the singles, which are hard to find, and then the omnibuses, and then like the whatever collector, and then now it's the perfects.
Yeah.
So
So, yeah, that one I'm very excited about, but I'm also just like, "Man, I gotta
God.
rebuy this again."
Well, it's like I know you mentioned it. We mentioned another one, but it was the same thing with Danmachi, where you have like all the light novels, and then they're doing like this basically giant Bible basic of the light novels. Like
Yeah.
all, which I'm very intrigued on how they're gonna consolidate all the different light novels into one massive book.
They're just gonna give you a magnifying glass and just say, "Here you go."
I that thing's gonna be comically huge.
It is. It really will be. Um, but yeah, on my list, because I know I yeah, no, there's a couple more shows that are just like I have access to the show, or well, you access to the show is still out there one
Hmm.
way or another. The one that I have on my list, there's no access to the show, there's no access to the light novel, and there's no access to the manga, and that is Baka&Co. I
Yeah.
have a DVD copy of Baka&Co. I have the first manga of 3, which I looked. The 3 volumes of manga on eBay are like $10 a piece, so like the resale for that is really not all that bad. But again, that one you can't just go into the store and be like, I want to buy this because it just doesn't really exist anywhere.
Hmm.
So Baka&Co is definitely a big one, especially for how fucking like good that series is. I still need to finish watching it. I started it and it was one of those things of like I don't want this to end. So I
Yeah.
didn't finish it. Um but it's such a good show from what I've watched. And it's just one of those things of like, damn, I want this to go on forever. But yeah, that's also just a very unaccessible series currently, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah. There's only a handful of like anime that I watch where they gets the short treatment and I want to read. One of them is Dead Man Wonderland because I know for a fact that's never going to get a second season, but I would like to read it because it is actually a really interesting series itself, like story wise. And there's so many answers left just completely open, nothing tied together. No, there's no feeling of like, great, we get to wrap up little bits here and there. Like, no, nothing got wrapped up in that show through one season, and so I would like to read it, but it's in that same boat where it's out of print. So,
Yeah.
and they're kind of hard to come by. I think I have the first volume. I want to say maybe,
Hmm.
and like even those are like I think it just was kind of random. Uh,
Okay.
but another one in that same boat of like classics in Japan you see a lot about, but just you never see in bookstores here, is Drifters, which I've heard is good too. It's another Dark Horse series that might get the treatment. Might. I'm looking through this list of all the different Dark Horse series that they've done deluxes for, omnibuses for, collectors for, and it's growing exponentially, it seems, year by year. We have obviously Berserk, we've got Blade, Gantz has omnibuses, and I think Gantz is actually getting another treatment now too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Helsing,
I believe Gantz is coming out.
yep,
But
Helsing.
luckily for you, Drifters, they're getting omnibuses this year. They actually start next week.
I like how you looked at your wrist.
Yeah, the
Next
like as if I
week,
have a yeah, March 11th. The
guess your
first
take. March
Drifters manga omnibus volume 1 comes out March 11th.
March 11th. Wait, that's
So you'll be back home.
no. That's fine.
I mean, they may have it early at Kinokuniya. You never know. Also, this kind of put me in a bunny like when you mentioned corpse delivery services. Like, oh yeah, Volume 6 is coming out soon. It is nowhere to be seen on anybody's websites. I believe it may have gotten canceled.
That sucks. I swear to God, I saw a video online recently of someone like holding it physically, like the
That's
Kurosagi corpse.
interesting because yeah, no, like the only website that has it is like on their website is Books a Million. It's the
Books a
only
million.
website. Books a Million is the only one that has it, and it's supposed to come out March 18th. But that's it. There's no like it's not on Dark Horse's website anymore. It's not on Barnes and Noble. It's not on Crunchyroll. It's not on Amazon. Like it's nowhere. It's just Books a Million.
That's concerning.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know what's going on with more to come on Corpse Delivery Service because we may not ever get that freaking.
Well, they
We
can't
may
just
we may
stop
never
it.
get it.
They just can't stop it.
I mean, they can.
Okay, so fine. They can. Please don't.
I know, especially like so close to being out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no longer on the Dark Horse website. The first
Ooh.
5 omnibuses are, and Omnibus 6 is missing.
Ugh. I'm wondering if they're hitting a print problem. Because
If anything, well, I mean, we're are we going down another summertime bunny
yeah,
hole of
yeah.
where they had a print problem and just
Well,
kept pre-orders up for forever?
I was just gonna say if all you cats out there don't remember the atrocities of the book printing issues during COVID, uh, yeah, that was not a fun time to want to try to read new series and get them because stores would sell out instantaneously. Certain series hit printing issues. Like full publishers were like, "We have limited ability of like our series for printing purposes. Sorry, we can't get the resources to do this like at the volume we were before." And it's like, well, understandable. We're in a mass quarantine, a pandemic across the entire world.
Yeah.
But
Resources are spread
yeah,
thin.
but it was an unfortunate time for people to start getting back into, or for the first time into, reading manga and watching anime, because that really put a hindrance on those who had been collecting for some time.
No kidding. One last one that I kind of like. I've got three more, but one that I have on this list is kind of as a joke, kind of as like, you know what, it would be fun.
Oh God,
Is
I know what you're gonna
Bo Bo
say.
Bo 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 Bo. I think that would
Say
just
it
be just
right.
so.
It's
Sorry,
Bobobo Bo Bobobo.
no, it's I copied and pasted. It's Bo 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 Bo. Or sorry, Bo 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 Bo. That's the entirety of it.
I okay. It
I copied and
I'm
pasted it.
looking at it's Bobobo Bo
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 Bobo
Bo Bo.
Bobobo
Yeah,
Bo
that's what I
Bo
said.
Bobo. It's two individual bows in the middle.
Bo bo bo
Bobobo.
bo 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 bo.
No, not that. That okay.
Like that'd
Side
be a
tangent.
joke. Like
It's not a
it'd
joke.
be
That's a
fun.
great series. I watched that religiously on Adult Swim or Toonami, whatever. Same thing.
I I mean I did
That's
too. Like we can go and buy the Blu-ray right now if we wanted to because they finally re-released the Blu-ray for it.
that
Um,
series was so it was
so fucking weird, dude. It was so good.
that was the type of like that was the type of anime where I feel like if my parents were to ever like come down at whatever like 11 p.m. when I was just in the basement watching those Saturday night cartoons that Tyler always just watches, we don't really know what he's watching. It would be that one. It wouldn't be Bleach. It wouldn't be Naruto or One Piece or like Inuyasha or any of the other
Inuyasha, it'd
ones.
just be
It would be
fucking
fucking.
Bobobo.
It'd be a dude with a blonde afro whipping
Oh
people
my
with his
god.
nose hair, and they'd be like, "We're gonna put you into a summer school and
Yeah,
get you out of the
about
house."
this.
Yeah, like God, it was that. I loved that show. It was so much fun.
But I don't know if I'd want to own 21 volumes of it.
No, I'd want them as omnibusers, burses. I want them as
Versus
omnibuses, or some special treatment. I know this is going back in time a little bit, but we didn't talk about for Kingdom, even though we're super excited, and
yeah.
there's a
Oh
bajillion
god,
volumes
yeah.
out. Apparently, according to the
Me.
current pre-release on, well, yeah, you and what Barnes and Noble, and I think it was Barnes and Noble or Crunchyroll has on their store right now,
Amazon.
Amazon,
They
which
have the page
honestly,
count. They have the
I
page count on
I don't
Amazon.
trust Amazon just simply because of their inconsistency with delivering manga series and stuff like that. But I digress. They have currently on their store Kingdom as the individual manga volumes, not an omnibus treatment, not a collector, deluxe, perfect, or anything like that. It's the pure individual volumes for Kingdom, which means collecting them is going to be a fucking chore.
No, it's not even that it's going to be a chore. It's going to take
Well,
forever
yeah, that too. It's gonna take.
because there are 74 volumes of Kingdom and it's still going and we are getting singles.
One of
We're
us is
not getting omnibuses, we are getting singles.
one of us is gonna show up at the other's funeral with like the final volume and be like, "See, I told you we'd make it." And
Like even if we got a volume a month, which never happens in these circumstances. Even if
no,
we get a volume a month, that is 6 years. Over 6 years to get the entirety of what is out.
yeah, of what is
It's
out.
not happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Plus whenever they release more, but
Yep.
just over 6 years to get all of
Well,
Kingdom if they release one a month.
the one I always use, I have a bias towards it. Whatever, sue me. But the example I always use is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Like we are in 3 months time, 2 months time, finally getting part 7 released in English. Part
I'm
7's
happy for you.
part 7's been out, like completed for like I want to say 20 years.
Let's see here. Part 7, Steel Ball Run. Started in 2004, ended in 2011.
Okay, 2011. Okay, so I was off. It ended 14 years ago. My bad.
God, get it together.
But it started 21 years ago.
It did start 21 years ago.
It's out in French, it's out in Spanish. I think it's out in Italian. Like completed. Fully completed. You can get box sets of it in those languages. And we are just now getting the English release printed for part 7, which means and Araki is still writing part 9 right now, right? So that means, like, if you do math, and granted, we're now on a schedule finally for JoJo's because they've been consistently putting into print, I think, since they put out Diamond is Unbreakable. They've been doing the consistent releases from like part 4, part 5, part 6, and now into part 7. But they do take time. I think they do one volume every 2.5 months, I think is the calendar, like the timetable. Basically, you can map out everything until part 9. But it's going to end up being like, we'll get part 8's first volume in like, I think it was like 2029.
Good luck.
Yeah, right?
By the way, part 7, volume 1 comes out May 27th of this year.
Yeah, so like just around 3 months.
Just a bit.
Yeah, I am so excited.
I've got 2 more on my list. One of them is a personal one that it's just like, it's not necessary by any means. Just give me the one, like, I think it would just be one omnibus would cover the entirety of the story, but they made a Cowboy Bebop manga, and I would love to read that. Like, I love that universe so much. It's my favorite anime. I would love to read it, but it's not available anywhere. Like, you would just have to buy secondhand, which again can get pretty pricey. So it's just one of those things that it's just like, man, I just want it. Like,
well, I think
just give it to me.
Another series that is exactly the same in terms of length, you could put it into one single omnibus, would be Kill la Kill, because that shit's hard to find too.
Yeah, I've got the first 2 volumes. Finding the 3rd volume in hardback is insane.
I have
like,
volume 2
not
paper, I think.
I've got 1 and 2 hardback. The 3rd hardback, there's 2 listings on eBay. They've been up for months. And one of them finally like came down in price. Like, it started at $350. Somebody else did their listing at $300, so that one came down to $300. They're both stuck at $300, and they've been there for months. And at one point, one of them did like, oh, I'll do a discount, like $25 off or best offer. So I offered him $100, and instantly was just like, no. And I'm like, well, fuck yourself.
That is an insult, good sir. $100 for a single volume manga. You are
to take off a single volume of manga you've had on your hands for about a year now. Like,
that's the thing. Again, like, it's so frustrating me. The comment I made earlier, if you like read or purchasing these to archive and to like just have as a part of your collection, that's one thing. Like, that's fine. It's when you buy up the series or you just like come across it and you're like, oh, I don't give 2 fucks about this, but I sure like making money off it, so I'm going to sell it at an astronomical price because that's what the market says. And it's like, man, it doesn't have any inherent value beyond just its listed MSRP, other than the, you know, personal value to readers and those who collect and those who like appreciate the series. But if you're just buying it to then turn it around and sell it for like 100 times what its actual value is, then yes, you are the problem, and you're gonna hear a knock at your door at night, and it's gonna be me here to take your entire collection.
Shit on his lawn.
Yeah.
To buy
Grinch style. I'm just gonna come in with a giant vacuum cleaner and suck up all your value. You don't deserve this.
Yeah, there's 2 series for Cowboy Bebop on manga. There's the original, which is 3 volumes, and then you have Cowboy Bebop Shooting Star, which is 2 volumes. There are 3 listings so far that have all 5 volumes. One is a bid war right now at $152 with 4 days left. The
Oh,
other 2 is $250 and $300 respectfully.
oh God.
Go fuck yourselves. Like, I just wanna read my little story about my boys in space. That's all. Actually, no, there's another complete set for $160. That's actually not that bad. Look, compared to the
It's
other
not bad.
things, but, like,
It's so
yeah, it's just like it's just come on, guys.
well, it's the same
I
thing.
get
Like
it.
when Beckett, I know this is a deviation from the conversation, but it I had the same reaction when Beckett was like, "Hey, FYI, we have a new service where you can grade your manga," and I was like, "That seems fucking moronic." But then I realized, oh no, it's not, because there are people out there that are like the collectors, quote unquote, but all they want to do is get a out of print or like rare manga graded, and then they're like, "Oh, this manga that MSRP cost me, I don't know, $12. It's out of print or it's limited release, so I'm going to value it at 100. Now I have it graded as a, we'll just say a 9 Beckett. So now it's $500.
I will say, and I'm
That's
happy about
dumb.
I will say and I'm happy about this.
Yes.
There's more manga graded in Japanese than there is in English. There's only 2 volumes that come up in English that are graded when you search graded manga on eBay. One is for a 9.6 graded Dragon Ball Super Volume 1 as $792,
Oh,
which
gross.
it's 10% off. They were asking for 880.
Oh my
By the way, this
God.
is the same seller. Actually, this might be a no, it's a Japanese volume, so it doesn't matter. There's no graded English volumes on here. Funny enough, though, there is the Cowboy Bebop, not manga but comic book that is on here that's graded in English. So fuck you.
So
But the other one, the
stupid.
first fucking thing that pops up. Do you want to take a guess as to what series is the first series that pops up when you type in graded manga on eBay?
Attack on
And
Titan.
it is volume 1, graded at a 9.8. It is. Do you wanna guess how much it's going for?
So wait, so hang on. So it's just the regular old volume one, first
First
volume
volume in
in
Japanese,
in Japanese. First
Yes, at
volume,
a 9.8.
9.8. First volume. All right. And I know Japanese volumes, they're
First
small.
volume, first printing.
I purchased some Japanese manga when I was in Japan last. They cost me, I think, 800 yen, which is the equivalent of about $5. 9.8, we'll say 75 US dollars.
I just told you what fucking Dragon Ball Super was at
Yeah, but Dragon
880
Ball
with a
Super is
10%.
older. Dragon Ball Super is
No, it's not. Dragon Ball Super came out in 2016.
when the hell did Attack on Titan start? My brain doesn't care enough.
2010.
Ugh, well,
2010.
okay, who
Yeah,
cares?
the it's 10% off, but the original asking price was $2,200. It's just
Who
like, who the fuck is ever gonna pay this?
who's gonna
Who
buy that?
nobody ever buy it, please, for the love of God. It's the dumbest shit ever. I have one more on my list, and we can just end this fucking madness because I feel like we just keep
Okay.
getting on side tangents that make us upset. And if I had, like, the biggest ask of series that I really wanna come back because I just wanna read it, this one is inaccessible for manga. I'm pretty sure the anime is also inaccessible as well, and that's Eye Shield 21.
Yeah.
Eye Shield 21.
Football.
Okay, never mind. It is on Crunchyroll. So the anime is on Crunchyroll, which I didn't
Okay.
realize.
All
That's
right.
good to know. I actually might watch that. Um, but Eye Shield 21 is one of those shows that, like, I hear nothing but great things,
Mhm.
and I like have no access to it. But there's 145 episodes of the anime, so it
Holy.
might actually cover everything. But, like, yeah, there's 37 volumes of the manga, and the manga is inaccessible unless you're on the secondhand market. And it's just
Jeez.
one of those things that I'm just like, I would love to read this because I hear nothing but amazing things about this series.
Yeah. Well, there's like I said, Hajime no Ippo is one where it purely just doesn't have an English release at all, right? But there's
Yeah.
like a handful of older manga series that I feel like would be really fun to go back to and read. A couple that come to mind, and I don't know if they're technically considered out of print or not, or have limited accessibility in terms of like secondary market, but like Kuroko's Basketball is one that comes to mind, as well as like Prince of Tennis. I feel like those would be like two really fun ones to just go back and read, as being like the like kind of nostalgic sports series.
Right.
So I mean, like Slam Dunk. Obviously, I think Slam Dunk's getting a new treatment or doing like a re-release of something. I want to say because they just they did the movie recently, so I imagine there's gonna be something to follow. But like Slam
Yeah.
Dunk's one. Oh, there's one that's I think it's called Real, like
They're
REAL.
they're
The
yeah, they're releasing those. I see those
yeah
in at Barnes and
yeah
Noble.
Real is a good one too. I think that's it's like handicapable or like wheelchair basketball. I want to say like that's another series I hear nothing but good things about. But just stuff like those are the type of ones where I wouldn't mind going back and getting a reprint of, like specifically like sports series, because I feel like those are just have like some really cool air about them, where like they just were like for the time really set themselves apart from other series. Like reading like classic shojo or seinen series, it's like it's okay, like they're fun enough, but like the sports series back then seemed to be like in a whole different realm.
Right.
Eye Shield being one of them too.
So the secondhand prices for Eye Shield are absolutely insane.
Oh no.
They vary widely. But there are a few listings for like a full like complete set of Eye Shield,
Which
which
is,
I
you
think
said
I said there were
37?
what 37.
Yeah.
So there's one in a bid war right now with one bid with a day left, and it's $900.
All right, let me
But
bring
if
up.
you want to buy it now, the lowest one that I've seen, actually, I'm gonna filter this down to just completely buy it now. Give me a second. I gotta find that fucking thing.
So to put
But the
well,
one that
real
what's that?
quick, to put it in perspective, okay? Because $900 sounds like a lot, but if it's the real full series, all 37 volumes, that comes out to about $24.50 a volume, which
Which
isn't
isn't bad.
terrible. That's not bad. That's not
But
bad.
that's also a bid war, so people that'll go
That'll
up
go
by the
up.
time, like, yeah,
Yeah.
because the lowest price for a complete set for buy it now is 1750.
Okay. Let's do some math on that. That would be $47.30 a volume, not including
which is
tax.
which is not great.
Yeah, you're basically paying almost $50 a volume at that point. And they're
Yeah.
individual volumes. They're not omnibuses. Jesus. That's
Yep. There's another listing for 4 grand. Like, it's insane. Like, this is that one series where I'm just like, I would love to read this. I would absolutely love to read this. But like the older or like the later volumes are more expensive than the early volumes, it seems. Which,
yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's true for a lot of series that are out of print, but just like, dude, I
What
would
I'm
read this.
what I'm finding is what we need to do. This is the moral of the story, okay? This is the lesson that you should take from this conversation. It's not to, try to find some series that you're interested in, or, keep your eyes out for some of the reprints that are coming out. No. The thing that you should take from this podcast episode is find a hobby or interest that people like, invade their territory, scoop up all their shit, and then sell it online for a profit. That's what you
Yep.
should do, because capitalism works, folks.
Because looking at sold series or sold full series for Eye Shield, $1,400 and $1,600.
Oh,
Those are sold
my
full
heart,
series.
my heart.
My heart, it hurts. Yeah.
Good
Fucking
God.
what the fuck, dude? And with that, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We greatly appreciate it. We will be back next week with a brand new episode. Until then, if you want some more of us, we are available at Discord. You can follow our channel and just talk to us and talk shit to us. Or you can follow us on social medias, Instagram, which we keep saying we're going to get rid of and we never do,
Yeah.
TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. We're back to posting mostly daily on there. So you'll see more of our lovely faces there with our terrible, terrible opinions and sometimes news articles. But until next week, Spark Triumph, we'll see you then.